Welcome back to another episode of the server performance benchmark implementation in Swift using Hummingbird and the argument puzzle. Okay, so we are almost at the end of our series. If you watched all the episodes, we did some introductions. I did the server, the project setup with package.swift. We created the model, we created the database migration, the repository service, the executable. We talked in length about the secrets. Last time we did the whole app builder. We're still missing one part for it, but don't worry, we'll get to that soon enough. And today we finally are getting into the endpoints. Okay. So before we get into the code today, we are going to have a little look at the project again. So, our console server benchmarks. I know we're still missing a few numbers in here, but don't worry, they will be coming up. So for today, since we're implementing the endpoints, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Basically, we need a few endpoints for books. Basically, all of them have books in front of them. So you have your IP address and then books and then whatever behind it. So we're first going to do the first two get calls here. So this is going to be books with a query parameter for limit, and we're going to have the books with a slash and then have a UUID provided to us. So let's get into the code. Right here, let's do domain book controller. Perfect. Okay, so the book controller. It, of course, needs some foundation. And here I also want to have the Hummingbird framework, and to connect everything else to what we already wrote, we already need the service. Okay. Let's see. Just checking. Yeah. Let's do this the old-fashioned way. So we're going to have. Let's start the other way. So we're going to do a struct, and this struct is going to be our book controller. Okay. In this book controller, we need some reference to our service because that's basically doing all the heavy lifting. So let service be, this is going to be the repository service. Perfect. And of course, with that, I also need an initializer. And I do need some kind of thing, some kind of protocol. Okay, so now shortcut actions in Xcode, small Xcores. So if you press Command-Shift-J, you're going to jump into the file explorer on the left side. And now we can say Command-N to create a file or Command-Option-N to create a folder. We are going to create a file. And it's going to be a Swift file, of course. This is going to be named, let's call this one controllable. Not the best name, but okay, this is going to be a public protocol, controllable, and this will only have one single method. First, of course, I need to include Hummingbird. Otherwise, this is not going to work. There's going to be one function which will tell me add routes to router, and this is going to be a router, and this is going to be basic request context, exactly this one. Whoops. Nope. No get in here. Okay. Let's get back to our book controller. And let's say it's going to be an extension on the book controller. This is going to be controllable. And with that, I have my add routes to function. This is going to be public. Do I need public? Not sure. Okay, let's keep it like this. Okay. So in here, basically what I want to do is I want to add all the different routes I have. So first thing, since you already saw it, the first part of the path you will need, this is going to be books. And for that, there's a simple thing called group, and this is going to be books. Okay, behind that, there's supposed to be a get call to it directly. And let's quickly look. So there's no, so I'm talking about this one. There's going to be a limit because right here, I need another part of the URL. This is going to be just books. Okay, so with books, this is going to be get books. And the other one, let's start with this one. So I can do a private function because nobody else wants to know about this. Get books. And this is going to have the request and the context. Basic request context. This is of course going to be async and it could throw, and the return value will be a response. Okay. So let's see. What do I need? So somewhere in the query parameters, I have something called limit, and there's a value associated to it. So let's get that one first. If there isn't, then we're going to ignore it. So guard let limit string equals request dot URI query parameters. Nice. Get limit. So let limit be an int, and I want to cast it to an int as well. If all this fails, then I can just say return status, no, batch request. Because in this instance, the client has done something bad and should be punished. So if there's no limit on it, then we won't proceed any further. Okay, and with that, I can say let books try await service get books with limit. And now I have the issue again that whatever gets back from here is not codable or encodable or decodable or whatever. But so I need a helper function that I did before to say, hey, to codable. And this is also something, yeah. Okay, let's do the to codable first. So this is going to be down here. This is going to be an extension on the repository service models.book. It's going to be a function to codable. And this is going to basically use the book controller output, which I haven't defined yet. So book controller output, which is fine. So this also needs extension book controller, and this is going to be a struct output. And this is basically going to have the exact same thing that this one has. So perfect. ID, title, author. All right, so let's just return it. Author, publisher, and release date. Do it pretty and even prettier. All right, there you go. Okay, so now I can do this part. And this one, of course, should be codable. Otherwise, the naming wouldn't make any sense. So I would convert this to codable. And then I also need some kind of mechanism to say, hey, can you convert this codable to a response? Which I might need all the time. Haven't seen, in Vapor there's a different thing you can do. In Hummingbird, as far as I know, we have to do a little bit of magic in here. So that's not a big problem. So let's go for import Hummingbird. Let's do an extension on the response. This will be an initializer that will be able to take a codable and status, which will be an HTTP response dot status. Standard should be okay. And I can also add some headers in here, which will be not mandatory, but works fine. Okay. So in here I have to do some magic. So let's see. So I need a body for the response, and this should be of type response body. Then I need a status. Which will be, I probably don't need it. Do I need it? Dun, 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 nope. I need to make sure that I have the headers. Okay, so now let's get to the ugly part. Let codable. First make sure it's there. Then data equals try optional JSON encoder and missing something. Encode. Interesting. This wasn't there before. Okay, let's say data. Oh no. Codable. And let's say byte buffer with data and body buffer. So now should also append a new element. Tells me content type will be case in JSON. And now I can say init header body perfect, status headers body. All right, this should be fine. So now I can move or convert the non-codable to a codable and also add it into the repository, into the response, sorry. All right, so what do I need here? So I have my books, and now I want to get codables. Those are going to be books map codable, perfect. And now I want to return a response with codables. That should work. Of course not, because I'm missing the foundation. Okay, successful, perfect. Do I need to add? No. Okay, get books, perfect. Let's introduce get book. So in this one I have not a query parameter, but how we call it, a parameter in the URL itself. So let's say this is going to be my book ID. And with that I will use get book. So private function get book. I'm going to copy paste this because this is exactly the same I need in here. All right, so this time I can't use this because it's not a query parameter. I need to do something else, which will be let book ID equals context parameters require book ID as UUID. So I don't have to convert anything or anything. It's going to be a string, but if it's casted here and converted to UUID, then I have no issues later on. So let book equals service dot get book with ID, book ID. This is of course going to be try await. And then I basically do the same dance, let codable equals book dot to codable and return response with codable. All right. Let's run it. See if it works. It works. Perfect. Okay. Can't really do anything yet because we can only get the books, but we don't have any books. First, we need to post them to get them. So you see the dilemma, but all right. So today we did the get endpoints, and with that we're slowly but constantly coming to an end. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and see you next time. Bye.